scuba gear on. Let's go swim with the dolphins.
Oh, here they come! Dolphins are perfectly adapted to their environment. They have nothing to do but swim and play all day. They have massive brains. They're incredibly intelligent. If dolphins bought insurance, they'd choose High House.
High House Insurance don't pay to be on comparison websites, so your premiums are better value. Try us and see. Call 606 552. High House, local reliable insurance. High Street, Chelsea.
Hi and welcome to this week's Manhood Internet Radio podcast. My name's Keith Barnes, and in this week's show we have Alison, who's going to be telling us about what's going on in and around Bracklesham and Ortrins, and also what's going on in and around Chelsea. And she'll also be giving us the weather later on in the programme. We'll hear from Theresa White about why dogs do what they do. Judy Kerns will be telling us about Salty Dog, and we'll hear from Pastor Andy Stevens from the Windrush Church in Bracklesham. Without further ado, we move forward with Alison.
Hello there, and welcome once again to our weekly look at what's happening on the Witterings and Bracklesham. First of all, on Tuesday we have the Rockwood Lawn Tennis Club group coaching. 2 sessions there, one between 10 and 11, followed by 11 to 12, £4 an hour, and that's held at West Wittering Sports Field. At Bracklesham Barn on Tuesdays, it's the Little Explorers Play and Learn Together. They start at 10 and finish at 11:30. Yoga with Elaine, 2 sessions there at Bracklesham Barn, 9:30 to 10:30 and 10:45 till 11:45. 2 sessions of strength and balance at the barn in the afternoon, 2 till 3 and 3 till 4. And then in the evening, the beginner ukulele club meet between 6:30 and 8:30. The community pop choir will have their rehearsal at West Wittering Memorial Hall, starting at 7 and finishing at 9. And back at the Bracklesham Barn, it's the badminton club between 7:30 and 9:30. Every Wednesday at Bracklesham Barn, it's table tennis, a drop-in and play adult session. That's between 10 and 12. They also have the CBT motorcycle training at Bracklesham Barn. That's between 9 and 11, but you do need to pre-book for that one. And then at lunchtime, belly dancing with Step Inside at the barn between 1 and 2. And in the early evening, there's Louise's Zumba class between 6:30 and 7:30. That's at Bracklesham Barn. Followed at 7:30 until 8:30 with surf conditioning. Thursdays, we've got the Busy Bugs Toddler Gym at Bracklesham Barn between 9:30 and 12 noon. And then over at the Witterings Medical Centre, it's Stitch and Yarn between 10:30 and 12:30. And at East Wittering Library, there's a Knit and Natter group. They start at 11 and finish nattering at about 12:30. It's also the day for the Witterings Art Group between 10 and 12 at West Wittering Memorial Hall. And then in the afternoon at East Wittering Village Hall, there's a Keep Fit exercise class between 2 and 3. At West Wittering Memorial Hall on Thursdays, there's the Short Mat Bowls group. They start at 10 and until 12, and then an afternoon session 2 until 4. Then we've got a Pilates mixed ability group at East Wittering Village Hall between 6 and 7, and the regular private ballroom and Latin class starting at 7 at East Wittering Village Hall. You need to book for that one, www.strictlydancinguk.co.uk. It's also the day for the Junior Youth Club between 8 and 12 years at the Youth Centre. That starts at 5, finishing at 6:30, followed immediately at 6:30 by the Senior Youth Club. They meet until 8:30. That's for ages 12 to 17. On Fridays down at Bracklesham Barn, it's the Pilates class, 9:30 until 10:30, and in the afternoon, short mat bowls between 2 and 4. Over at East Wittering at the Village Hall, there's the Coastliners line dancing group between 2 and 5. And because it's the summer, of course, we've got the lawn tennis, Rookwood Lawn Tennis Club group coaching. Their beginners sessions are on Fridays between 2 and 2:45 at West Wittering Sports Field. It's also the day for the UK Film Academy at Bracklesham Barn between 5 and 9. Jukebox night at Pond Barn on a Saturday, 7 until midnight. private ballroom and Latin class as well, 7 o'clock, East Wittering Village Hall. Again, to book that one, it's www.strictlydancinguk.co.uk. Then every Sunday at Bracklesham Barn, 10:30 in the morning until 12:45, there's the Windrush Church meeting. And in the evenings, there's modern jive dancing at East Wittering Village Hall between 7:30 and 9. And at Pond Barn, don't forget, it's the quiz night. That begins at 8. Then Mondays, we start the week at Bracklesham Barn with low impact aerobics. That starts at 9:15 and runs until 10:15. And it's also the Little Ducklings Mother and Toddler group on a Monday at Bracklesham Barn between 9:30 and 11:30. Short Mat Bowls is also at the barn between 10:30 and 1. And then early evening, Louise does her Zumba class between 6:30 and 7:30. Over at East Wittering Village Hall, there's line dancing on a Monday between 7 and 10. Then in the evening at Bracklesham Barn, Elaine has her yoga class between 7 and 8:30. And Verity will be doing ARO Ladies Beginner Kickboxing between 7:30 and 8:30. Back to Tuesday now, we've got the Rookwood Lawn Tennis Club group coaching between 10 and 11, and then 11 and 12, £4 an hour at West Wittering Sports Field. Little Explorers play and learn together at Bracklesham Barn between 10 and 11:30. And also at Bracklesham, we've got yoga with Elaine, 2 sessions there, 9:30 to 10:30, and then 10:45 to 11:45. Strength and balance at the barn in the afternoons, 2 until 3 and 3 until 4. And then early evening, the Beginner Ukulele Club meets from 6:30 until 8:30. Don't forget the Community Pop Choir meet at West Wittering Memorial Hall between 7 and 9. And there's a time for badminton as well at Bracklesham Barn, 7:30 until 9:30. And then at Pond Barn, Tuesday night is free pool night. So that's about it for the regulars. There are 2 special events this week. There's a coffee morning at Russell's Garden Centre on Wednesday the 17th of May from 10 until 11:30. As usual, this is in aid of St Wilfrid's Hospice. And then at Bracklesham Barn on a Wednesday, 1:30 till 3:30, Heart Space. You need to go along and find out what that's about. So, plenty to be getting on with. Hope you enjoy some of those activities. Bye for now.
Well, thank you for that, Alison. And we will, of course, be hearing from you again later on with what's going on in and around Selsey and, of course, with the weather. Now, what all of you have been waiting for, the answers to the last quiz. When Kevin asked us, what do you call a tradesman who makes barrels? Well, that, of course, is a cooper. Which English Test cricket fast bowler of the 1950s was nicknamed Typhoon? That was Frank Tyson. What is the stage name of singer Peter Jean Hernandez, born in Hawaii in 1985? That's Bruno Mars. What was the name of Morse's sergeant, played by Kevin Whatley on TV? That was Lewis. And finally, which US sitcom featured Kelsey Grammer in the title role? And that was, of course, Frasier. And the connection, if you haven't got it already, is heavyweight boxers. Henry Cooper, Mike Tyson, Frank Bruno, Lennox Lewis, and of course Smoking Joe Frazier. And of course we'll be setting you another quiz later on in the programme. Right, with me now in the studio with some of the things I dislike most in life.
Oh, thanks.
Dogs. Oh. I've got my old sparring partner, Theresa White. And Theresa's going to be telling us today why dogs do the things they do. And I'm going to be listening intently because I can't work them out. Good morning, Theresa.
Morning, Keith. Right, well, I've brought 2 little dogs along today. I brought my little Westie, Tammy, and I brought my poor little Jack Russell, Basil, who's now 14 this year, and he's had a stroke and he's got dementia. So the lights are on, but there's really nobody home.
Know the feeling.
I'm hoping that they don't squeak and spoil the recording, but they should be all right. I'm waiting for Basil to cock his leg up your trousers, so I purposely kept him.
I reckon you brought him on purpose.
I did. I purposely kept him out of the garden so as he couldn't pee. Right, so why do dogs do what they do? Well, we'll start with the one I get asked the most about, which is why do they sniff each other's bums? Now,
Well, that's interesting enough. Yeah.
luckily, us humans don't have to do things like this. We can shake
God for
hands.
that.
Yes. We can shake hands, we can have eye contact and all the rest of it. But dogs sniff other dogs' bums because it's a social greeting. It's like a doggy handshake. They can tell from sniffing another dog's bum whether the dog is in a good mood or not, whether the dog's been castrated or spayed, where the dog lives, what the dog eats, and probably loads of other things that we don't even know. And it's a very social thing, and you should let your dog do it.
I'd be interested to find out about how we found out the things that we do know.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. But it's a good thing. You know, I get a lot of mainly lady owners who pull their dogs away or say, oh, no, don't do that. And you shouldn't. You should. It's not disgusting. It's a doggy thing. And it allows dogs to know exactly where they are in the pack. So dogs will sense if another dog is a dominant dog or if it's an underdog or friendly and it can play with them, whatever. So let your dog have a little sniff. It's all good stuff for them. Another thing I get asked, which is another disgust. We get the disgusting things out of the way first. Why do dogs eat poo? Now,
Was nothing else?
well, sometimes, yes, if they're street dogs. Dogs eat poo for various reasons. Sometimes they will eat their own. Sometimes they will eat other dogs. Sometimes they will eat other creatures' poo, like deer, horses, stuff like that. And for all different reasons. The main one is there's often a lack in their own system of certain vitamins. Usually it's vitamin B. And if they've got that lack there, they will find it in other dogs' faeces. The main one they tend to go for is cat poo, which even I find disgusting because the smell is horrendous. But cats have a different digestive system and they leave a lot of nutrients in their poo. So that is why the dogs tend to go. I know, it's disgusting. It's no good you pulling faces. It's a fact of life. There are things you can do about it.
There are facts of life that I don't need to know.
Yes, there are. You should know everything. You can buy some tablets that make the poo less appealing. Obviously, if your dog is eating other dogs' poo, and you've got multiple dogs in your household, you've got to give those tablets to all the dogs. But there is nothing better for curing this than cleanliness and making sure they have extra vitamin B.
So cleanliness is next to dogliness.
It certainly is, and dog is God spelled backwards, so yes, definitely. As soon as you go out there with your dogs, as soon as they've been to the toilet, clear up, so that there's, that isn't an option for them. I know it's not always easy, but it's tough. You're a dog owner.
Do they then think that when you get your little doggy poo bag and you bend down and pick up this poo in the bag, do the other dogs think that you're getting them a takeaway?
I don't know. I've never asked them. I do get dogs who look at me a bit strange sometimes when I pick up their poo, as much as say, what the pig hell are you doing that for? But I've never actually discovered why. So go and get them tablets. Some people say the Americans use pumpkin and they mix quite a high quantity of pumpkin in with their dog's dinner. For some unknown reason, when it comes out the other end, they don't want it. So that's one way to go if you can get hold of a supply of pumpkins. I think that's all that can be said on the subject. If it continues, I mean, unfortunately, a learned behaviour, which is what that is, takes about 6 months of dedicated, clearing up after them for them to unlearn it. So you've got to be on their case. Don't expect it to be over and done with in 5 minutes.
Remember, folks, you heard it on the education station that doesn't pull any punches.
The vitamin B is best got into them by the simplest way: buy wholemeal bread, bake it in the bottom of the oven till it's crispy, and give them some of that. Obviously, watch their weight because it's quite high in calories, but that will give them a nice treat to eat and give them all their vitamin B that they need.
Jolly
Right.
good. Well, I'm glad we clarified that.
Yes. Right, so another thing. Why do they turn in circles when they're in their beds? Some people might already know this. It goes back to their ancestors. When they used to sleep rough out in the forests and all the rest of it, they used to have to make where they were going to lay nice and comfy. So if they had leaves or twigs under them, or sometimes even snow, they would want to compact it down and make everything comfortable, and it makes it a little bit warmer when they're walking round and round and round. And dogs have just never lost that. So they will walk round and round and round circles in the softest, most comfortable bed you could buy them. But it's just a thing that's in their DNA.
It's just a ritual preparation.
It's just something that's innate in them. Chasing their tails. Now, a lot of dogs do this for fun. A lot of dogs do it. Most dogs do it if they're bored. And I absolutely hate to see dogs that are what you call spinny dogs, when they spin and spin and spin and spin and spin. It doesn't do their brains any good, and it doesn't do their eyes any good.
They ain't got any brains to start with if
well,
they're doing that.
I mean, some people say, "Oh, my dog does this," and it's hilarious. No, it isn't actually, because your poor dog is obviously mentally not very well. That's the equivalent of a human being sitting there rocking, when they're mentally disturbed. So don't let your dog do it. Distract them is the main thing. Give them other things to do. Take them for nice long walks, obviously not exercised enough. And just nip it in the bud as much as you can, because it becomes an obsessive compulsive habit, and then your dog's doing it constantly. And I'm sure I know it's just not good for them. So something to watch. Why do they howl? Well, they howl, again, because their ancestors used to. It's in their DNA, it's innate, it's bred into them. A lot of people think, so-called experts think that they do it just for pleasure because they like the sound. I think they still do it to communicate.
I was just saying, I would have thought it was a communication thing.
Yeah, because some of my dogs will howl. If I leave them indoors and I'm outdoors, for some reason I'm busy in and out and I don't want them out in the garden with me, one of my dogs will set all the others off howling. And you can actually hear each different dog note. And I know exactly which dog it is that will raise its head and do the
You must be popular with your neighbours.
Well, I haven't got neighbours, so that's okay.
Oh, that's all right.
I'm fine. And it's something that is, I don't know, I think it's quite a pleasant sound. It doesn't bother me. And some dogs will do it if somebody's playing the piano. You must have seen it on...
in no distress and they're doing it, then
if someone's playing the piano and the dog will start singing, they say it's howling, I think then it's to do with the pitch, and it sort of irritates their sensitive ears, and it sets them off. There's in that way they're saying, I don't like that noise. They are not singing and they are not joining in, believe me. But I've just recently bought a webcam to have set up. I tried to set it up before I came out, actually, and I couldn't do it, so that I can see what my dogs are doing when I'm not there. And I'm fully expecting to see some of them raising their heads and howling when I'm not there. But I will be able to speak to them through the camera, which is going to be really cool, because I'm going to hear, down, what are you doing? And they're all going to go,
where is she? Where is she?
What's that? That's going to be funny.
Yeah.
Right. So, shall we leave that for now? And we'll have another session on this.
Yeah, it's enough information for why dogs do what they do up to this point, certainly. But I think we'll come back, in the not too distant future, and find out some more.
All right, thank you.
Thanks for coming in,
thank you,
Theresa, as always. You got your own back. You brought your dogs with you this time. I shall bring me gun next time. I'm joking, of course. In actual fact, these two dogs are very well behaved, and I don't mind well behaved dogs. It's the ones that ain't that I don't like. Anyway, that's enough said on that, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Okay,
bye for now.
Bye.
And we go back across to Alison now for What's On in Selsey.
Hello there, and welcome once again to our weekly look at what's happening in Selsey. So first of all, on Tuesday the 16th of May, we start off with the Seal Island Swimming Club. They meet at 9:30 until 10:30 at the Oasis Pool, Bun Leisure. Same sort of time, we've also got the mobile soft play for the under 5s at the Salty Centre. That's between 10 o'clock and 11:30. Sue and Tom are the contacts for that one, 604 642. Also in the morning, it's the Salty Carers Coffee Morning at their shop 109 High Street. That starts at 10:30. And then in the afternoon, St Peter's Fellowship will meet at St Peter's Church Hall between 2:15 and 4. Later in the afternoon, kickboxing for kids between 4:30 and 5:30. Again, that one's at the Salty Centre on Manor Road. And then between 7 and 8, there's netball for all at the Academy Sports Hall. Moving on now to Wednesday. Between 9 and 4, there's an art stream workshop. This is going to be held at St Wilfrid's Church Hall with a local artist. The theme, not surprisingly, will be sea life and seascapes. You can get some further information on that by phoning Angela Benwell on 603 333. Then back to the usual activities for Wednesday. We've got body conditioning between 9:15 and 10:15 at the Salty Centre, followed immediately by fitter sitters exercise class. We've also got the Seal Island Swimming Club again, the Oasis Pool at Bun Leisure between 9:30 and 10:30. The Selsey Woodcarvers meet most of the day down at the Scout Hut on School Lane. That's between 10 o'clock and 4 o'clock, and all are very welcome to go and join them. It's also the morning for the Selsey Model Boat Club. They meet at the pond on East Beach, where they sail their radio-controlled boats, and new members are always welcome. That's between 10 and 12. Chris is the contact for that one, 601 550. Moving on now to the afternoon of Wednesday, we've got the Crafty Natter Club at the Methodist Church. More details on that from Lisa, 601 032, and that's held between 2 and 4. Then in the evening, again at the Methodist Hall, the Selsey Community Choir will have their rehearsal. That's between 7 and 8:30. There's carpet bowls at Medmory Primary School on School Lane between 7 and 8. And the Selsey Music and Folk Club meet for their monthly get-together at the Selsey Club on Cox's Road. That starts at 7:30 and goes on to about 9 o'clock. Thursday the 18th of May, the Seal Island Swimming Club once again at the Oasis Pool on Bun Leisure, 9:30 till 10:30, and also mobile soft play for the under 5s at the Selsey Centre on Manor Road. That's between 10 and 11:30. Sue and Tom, 604 642, the contacts there. In the afternoon, the Selsey Bridge Club meet at Cox's Road, Selsey, between 2 o'clock and 5 o'clock. They're a friendly group of mixed ability. Carol has some more information on that, 602 250. And then early evening, walking football meets at the Academy. This is a gentle game of football to keep the over 50s in shape by walking, not running. That's held at the Academy between 6 and 7:30. Carpet Bowls starts at 7 until 8 at Medmory Primary School on School Lane. And it's also Link, Ladies in Contact. They meet at St Peter's Church between 7:15 and 9:15. This month they're going to be showing a film called The Life of a Bargee. So if you fancy finding out about that, that's on Thursday. There's also the Whist Drive at the Selsey Club on Cox's Road at 7:30. It's time also on Thursday for the Selsey Cinema Club, meeting as usual at the Selsey Town Hall. This time the film is called Fences. It tells us that some people build fences to keep people out and other people build fences to keep people in. This is supposed to be a performance-driven masterpiece of the year in the film adaptation of August Wilson's Pulitzer Prize-winning play. So that starts at 9:30. That starts at 7:30 and finishes at 9:45, Fences at the Cinema Club. On Friday the 19th, once again, starting with Seal Island Swimming Club at the Oasis Pool between 9:30 and 10:30. Also mobile soft play for the under 5s at the Selsey Centre on Manor Road between 10 and 11:30. And then in the afternoon there's the Bridge Club for beginners at the Selsey Club on Cox's Road. They start at 2 and finish at 4. Same time, the Derby and Joan Club meet at St Peter's Church Hall. They meet for a game of bingo and raffle, cup of tea and a chat, so why not go along and find out more about that. You can also speak to Jill on 604 187 about the Derby and Joan. Mindful music making at the shop on the High Street, Salty, between 2 and 3:30. And early evening, the Bright Sparks Youth Club for school years 1 to 4 at East Beach Church. That's between 5 and 6. On Saturday, once again, we have the Sea Island Swimming Club between 9:30 and 10:30. And don't forget the 2 regular sales, the Venture Bus Boutique between 8:30 and 12 and the Scout Hut between 10 and 12. The Selsey Power Rangers meet in the morning on Hillfield Road Car Park between 9 and 10. And then at 9:30 till 10:30, it's carpet bowls at the Medmory Primary School, School Lane. Sunday, the 21st of May, Sea Island Swimming Club, 9:30 to 10:30. And we've also got an RSPB walk. Discover Medmory West guided walk. You need to meet at the Ernley car park at 9:50, that's 10 to 10. Booking is essential for this one, £7 or £4 for RSPB members. That guided walk begins at 10 and finishes at 1:30. The number for the RSPB is 641508. Also on Sunday, the regular Selsey Model Boat Club will meet at the pond on East Beach. They start at 10 and finish at 12. There's the respite tea in the afternoon between 3 and 4 at East Beach Church, and carpet bowls between 3 and 4 at Medbury Primary School, School Lane. Moving on now to Monday the 22nd, Dance and Tone, followed by Pilates at 9:30 at the Selsey Centre, Manor Road. The Sea Island Swimming Club once again have their meeting 9:30 to 10:30 at the Oasis Pool, and then in the early afternoon and in the early evening, netball for all between 6 and 9 at the Academy Small Hall. Also the day for the Selsey Striders. They start at 6:30 and finish at 9:30. They meet at Hillfield Road Car Park, and it's suitable for all people who can run 3 miles. Tuesday the 23rd of May, Sea Island Swimming Club between 9:30 and 10:30, and the regular mobile soft play session for the under 5s. That's held at the Selsey Centre. Sue and Tom are the contacts there, 604 642, starts at 10 and finishes at 11:30. And then in the late afternoon, kickboxing for kids at the Selsey Centre between 4:30 and 5:30. Netball for all at the Academy Sports Hall between 7 and 8. That's it for now. Hope you find plenty to do there. Bye for now.
Just pop your head out the door there, Alison, and have a look and see what the weather's doing, and come back and give us some idea later on, will you? Thanks. I'm joined now by Julie Kerns, and Julie's opening a new shop in East Wittering, and it's called the Salty Dog Emporium. And they're going to be doing wooden toys. Morning, Julie.
Good morning to you.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you very much.
Good. Now, wooden toys, is that going to be solely what you do, or?
It's not going to be solely what we do, but it is going to be our mainstay. We wanted to introduce wooden toys into the toy market for a little while now. It's very easy to go into lots of different toy stores, and there's lots of Disney and there's lots of plastic. All of it can be some really good quality, and it can be really nice. But I know through working with parents, because I was a former nursery nurse, childminder, and have worked as an advisor for a local authority supporting childminders and advising them that need for those sensory experiences for children through sort of wood and natural materials is really important. I've got 3 beautiful granddaughters of my own now, and I wanted them to have those experiences, to be able to sort of play with things that didn't feel plastic, but that actually they could touch, they could feel, they can smell, and that's what I'm hoping for.
Yes, I mean, of course, plastic has its own touch and feel and smell as well, but
yeah.
Just in case the Plastic Support Society get onto us. My son-in-law, actually, when the 2 grandsons were very young, bought wooden toys for them regularly, and they've lasted forever. Well, forever, but they've lasted 15 years without any problems at all.
Absolutely.
So they do seem to be a bit more,
they're a little bit more
robust.
robust.
Absolutely,
They're a little bit more robust. Certainly, we've got toys still up in the loft that we bring down when the children come down to play, like the wooden train sets, dolls' cots and such like, and that the children can play with, and they're in as mainly as good a condition now as what they were when my boys were a lot younger.
I mean, they tend just to suffer paint problems, don't they? Paint chips off of wood quite easily, but if that's the only thing that goes wrong with them, it's not too bad at all.
No, absolutely.
Whereas,
not.
Most plastic items now, plastic items pretty much once they're broken.
Absolutely.
Wooden toys, if they get broken, well, they can be repaired.
Yeah, they can be repaired and they can be mended. I'm hoping that my wooden toys won't get broken. I'm hoping that I have got quality products in the shop, and I hope people will enjoy using them, or the children will enjoy using them. My focus has been very much so that children are able to develop their imagination, that we've got toys that will inspire them, but most thing that we really want children to do is just have fun with them.
Now, one assumes that with wooden toys, there might be a little bit more work goes into those than there is into the plastic ones, but in a different way. The wooden toys are usually machined. They may well be mass machined nowadays, but they're usually machined, whereas plastic, you've got to have dyes and tools made out of moulds and everything. So I suppose all in all, it would be pretty much the same. Now, how about cost-wise? How does that compare with
I would say
toys?
I would say that there is no doubt that some of the wooden toys are definitely more expensive. I'm not going to sort of pretend that they're not. They are more expensive. However, the longevity of them makes them much more attractive to many parents in the long run, because essentially they want something that children are going to be able to play with for a long time, and that they can pass on or hand down the generations. So that's what I'm hoping, and I think the suppliers that I have got do offer those sort of quality products.
I mean, really, it's all about quality with the wooden toys in there. Their robustness, but a good quality wooden toy will last for many, many years.
Yeah, hopefully.
Despite the children's best efforts to destroy it, and then because most kids
we call it robust play.
Yeah,
robust play.
The Tonka toys when Tonka toys came out, they seemed to be just to be out to prove to parents that they could make a child-proof toy.
Absolutely.
And they pretty much did, actually.
Yeah,
I remember driving a lorry onto one and then using it as a spare wheel, as it were, many years ago. But the idea that they would make a toy that was going to last.
Yeah.
And consequently, of course, they were a little bit more pricey, but well worth the extra bit.
And they're just as easy to keep clean, a little bit of a damp cloth keeps them nice and clean and in good condition as well. But no more than what any parent would do with plastic toys. So it's just a matter of looking after them as you would. Well, you would hope so.
Is it coming back into vogue now, wooden toys? I mean, they've always been around, as I said, because
there is definitely, I have just recently sort of finished working in a nursery, and it is through speaking to parents and speaking to my colleagues that I worked with as well, knowing that a wooden toy was becoming much more popular. The parents were interested in that, and actually they were often finding it difficult to source and to find.
Yes, so, I mean, you do see them about, but they're not in every toy shop window, that's for sure.
No, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, so that's what we are concentrating on. It is those sort of really nice, highly sensory, highly touchy-feely wooden toys for the children.
Wonderful.
It's not the only thing that we will be doing for them. But even my pocket money toys, a lot of those are wooden toys as well. So little cars, little friction cars that you can pull back and let go. Children get great delight in that, but even those are wooden toys for them as well. So
because pocket money toys seem to disappear for an awful long time, unless it's the contents of a little chocolate egg.
Yes.
That you can supplied probably 5,000 for £1 or something.
Yeah.
Maybe
not, but
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Something that will last, regardless of how small. Something that you can buy that children can buy with their pocket money that will last.
Yes.
And they'll put it in their pocket or sling it in the drawer at home. It'll get lost under the couch or under the bed.
Yeah.
And it may not be seen for a year or two, but it will come out and they'll play with it again.
Absolutely, they will do.
They won't totally discard it.
No, they definitely won't.
Right now, is your shop open now?
My shop is definitely open now. We've opened quite quietly, without too much of a fanfare. I just wanted to open quietly and get myself bedded in and get a nice feel for the shop and really get to know my products and so we are
basically
open.
Lock the door and play with the toys.
Well, there is a little bit of that
That's
with
what it sounds like to me. Yeah, we're looking
there
for a
is
toy
little
tester.
Yes, definitely.
Well, that's great. Well, I'm sure we wish you well. Now, the shop is in Wittering's Walk in East Wittering, and if you'd like to get wooden toys for your children, this is the place to come, because I would guess that Julie's got a far greater range of wooden toys, or will have a far greater range of wooden toys than most toy shops.
We are gradually building up our range, so yes, definitely.
So pop along, and if there's something you like that you don't see, well, if you just
definitely
ask,
have a chat,
and talk to Julie, she'll point you in the right direction, and she'll get you whatever it is you're looking for, probably. Anyway.
More than likely.
Well, we wish you well with that, Julie.
Lovely.
It's always difficult with a new venture, but it's always good to see new shops opening.
Yeah.
Well,
we've had lots of lovely comments, and we've had customers coming in and spend some money as well. So, that helps.
That's exactly what you need.
That's exactly what we need.
Well, thanks once again, and we'll
you.
keep an eye on you, and we'll get you back in the not too distant future and find out how it's all going.
Lovely. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Right now, Alison, what's the weather going to be doing? What was it like out there?
Time now to have a look at next week's weather. Let's see what we can expect. Tuesday the 16th of May, top temperature 15 degrees Celsius or 59 degrees Fahrenheit, light cloud cover, 13 mile an hour southwesterly wind. Slightly warmer on Wednesday, 16 degrees Celsius or 61 degrees Fahrenheit, but light rain, I'm afraid, 10 mile an hour southwesterly wind. Thursday the 18th, no better. Heavy rain showers, in fact, on Thursday. Temperatures dropping to 14 degrees Celsius or 57 degrees Fahrenheit with a 15 mile an hour west-southwesterly wind. Friday the 19th, temperatures increasing to 15 degrees Celsius, 59 degrees Fahrenheit. We're promised sunny intervals with a 12 mile an hour west-northwesterly. Saturday the 20th of May, top temperature 16 degrees Celsius or 61 degrees Fahrenheit, sunny intervals again, 11 mile an hour northwesterly wind. Similar sort of day on Sunday, 16 degrees Celsius or 61 degrees Fahrenheit, sunny intervals, 11 mile an hour northwesterly wind. Let's have a look at the tide tables to have a look at the sea activity. Tuesday the 16th of May, we can expect a low at 10 to 8 in the morning and a high at 25 past 3. Moving, of course, during the week, Tuesday the 23rd of May, high at 9 o'clock in the morning and a low at 3 in the afternoon. Time also to mention the mobile tip. This week that will be held at Salty on the 18th of May. So that starts at 8:15 and finishes at 3. So if you've got any rubbish that you need to take this week, you can go down to Salty East Beach with that. Thanks for listening and hope you find plenty to do, and I'll speak to you again next week. Bye for now.
Well, thank you for that, Alison, and we look forward to hearing from you again next week. And now, the quiz.
Hi, here's Kevin, the quiz for this week's edition of the quiz, Connections Quiz. 5 questions, 5 general knowledge questions, What connects all 5 answers? And question number 1 in this quiz, what is the most southerly racecourse in England? Question number 2, in the old song, which bird sang in Berkeley Square? Question number 3, the Wombles. Which Womble shares its name with a city in New Zealand? And question number 4, staying down under, which city is the capital of the Northern Provinces in Australia? And question number 5, TV question, who was the original presenter of BBC's QI? So what connects all 5 answers?
A very good question, Kevin. What does indeed connect all 5 answers? Well, no doubt we shall find out next week. And it's my pleasure once again to welcome back Pastor Andy Stevens from the Windrush Church in Bracklesham. Morning.
Morning, Keith, and morning, listeners. I'd like to talk this morning about offence. Doesn't sound a very nice topic, but it's important. It's important. How do we respond to others? Are we pleasant and loving, or grumpy and unresponsive? How would you like to behave towards others? How would you like others to behave toward you? Can we make people behave a certain way toward us? Have we the authority to control the way they are to us? Why should they behave how you want them to? Why should they do this or do that to make you happy? How can they know what you want unless you program them as a robot? Why should they have to make you happy? See, some of you are getting offended by what I am saying. It is so easy to get offended, is it not? We all can be offended from time to time. But why? What really drives the offence in the first place? Is that we know how to behave, and we know how others should behave, and therefore insist they do as we want, otherwise we will get offended? Can this be right? Are we not trying then to control what people say or how they are as individuals? Some people live on eggshells around others because they get offended easily. Is that a good way to live? Is it right that we control people in this way? The Bible says in Proverbs 18, verse 19, a brother offended is harder to be won than a strong city, and their contentions are like the bars of a castle. Once we get offended, we'll end up in prison, and in many cases cause the offender to be in an emotional prison because of emotional blackmail. Isaiah in the Bible says in chapter 61 verse 1, the Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because the Lord hath anointed me to preach good tidings unto the meek. He hath sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives, and the opening of the prison to them that are bound. This is referring to Jesus. See, if you are in prison, you are bound up. Some people are wound up like a coil spring in an old-fashioned clock, so tightly wound that they could snap at any time. Should we take offence? Let's look at the Bible again. Easter was last week, and this depicts the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. He was a man that spoke the truth and lived a life without doing anything wrong, yet people were offended by him. The people that were offended were the religious people who do things a particular way, and if he disturbed these rituals and traditions, they will be offended. The reason for the offence was because he said things that made them look wrong and insecure and vulnerable. So as they wanted power and control over the people, they took offence. The trouble with offence, unsorted, it grows. So it grows into anger. And Jesus said in the Bible that if you have anger in your heart, you have already committed murder. So this anger in them grew into murder. They were the instigators of killing the Son of God. Offence is something we need to deal with straight away before it grows into something that becomes out of control. Matthew 24:4 says, and this is talking about what we call the end times, the times we're in now, in fact. And Jesus answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. And ye shall hear of wars and rumours of wars. See that you be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines, and pestilence, and earthquakes in divers places. All these are the beginnings of sorrows. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and you shall be hated of all the nations for my name's sake. And then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. And many false prophets shall rise, and shall deceive many. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. But he that endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. Jesus came to set the captives free. If you have been offended, then you are in a prison, and you have the key. The key to get free is forgiveness. Yes, forgive them. As the Bible says, forgive them as I have forgiven you. And in another place, if you do not forgive them, then your Father in heaven cannot forgive you. Offence must be dealt with as soon as it arises, before it starts stinking and the foul smell of sin will pervade your life. Give up the offence. You cannot and must not be judge, jury, and executioner. It's not good for you, it's not good for them, and it goes against the love God has poured out upon us all.
And that's about it for this week. It just leaves me to say thank you to our guests, to Andy Stevens, to Theresa White, to Julie Kerns, to Kevin, of course, for the quiz, and to Alison for being a mine of information about what's going on the peninsula. And from me, Keith Barnes, just leaves me to say thanks for joining us. Join us again next week. Bye for now.